So in today's video, I'm going to show you a few different cases, 2 different Apple Pencil alternatives, and a couple different keyboard cases. And I'll leave a link in the description below with current pricing and more information for everything covered in today's video. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first case up is by BraceIn. And I've used cases like this before on my Galaxy Tab A 10.1. They're always a really good case to get, especially with the hand strap on the back. It just makes it really convenient to use your tablet one-handed. So this one is $24.99 on Amazon, but there's also a 5% off coupon. You can get this one in red, purple, pink, green, blue, and black. It also comes with a carrying strap in case you want to connect it to the corners. It also comes with a cleaning cloth and an extra silicone tip for your Apple Pencil. So this one has a Velcro hand strap that's adjustable to fit just about any hand. And then the hard plastic center part that rotates. Then it's got a really nice heavy-duty silicone back to it. It also has a built-in stand, which you can use vertical or landscape. So that's always nice to have. You've even got a spot for an Apple Pencil. Or in this case, an Apple Pencil alternative. It is a little bit tighter with the Logitech crayon, but hey, it still fits. One thing I always like to mention, you can always take these out of the corners if you're not going to use the strap. So you can see the volume buttons and power button is covered by that silicone material, which makes it really easy to use, and the fact that they stick out quite a bit makes it really easy to find. You've also got a nice cutout here for your front-facing camera and for the Touch ID fingerprint scanner as well. You've also got cutouts for the rear-facing camera and microphones. Then you've got a flap that protects the headphone jack, charging port, and then you've got holes here along the bottom for the speakers. And that black plastic piece along the front sticks out quite a bit so that it protects the screen. Now this next one up is by BenBen, and it's currently $15 on Amazon. But there's also a $1 off coupon. You can get this one in 2 different colors. You've got gray and black or navy blue. Now this one is definitely a rugged, heavy-duty case, but maybe one step down from the BraceIn. And the cool thing about this one is it's got a spot for an Apple Pencil. And they leave a little opening on the back in order to pop it out of there. And again, the Logitech crayon is a little bit tight, but it still fits fairly decent. And you can see around the edges, it's a really large lip, so you're not going to have to worry about anything hitting the screen. Then you've got a cutout for the front-facing camera, and then you've got a flap for the headphone jack. You can see it's got 2 plastic plugs covering what is probably for the iPad Pro, which has speakers on both sides. And then you got a hole there in the middle for the microphone. And again, the silicone covers the power button and the volume buttons, which makes it really easy to use. Although the silicone on the back does feel like it's a little loose. Then you got a cutout there on the back for the Apple logo. Then you got cutouts along the bottom here for speakers. And of course a flap for the charging port. So this one does add a little bit of weight to the iPad, but not quite as much as the BraceIn. So my first impressions of this case is that it looks really nice. It seems to work really well. So if you're wanting a cheap yet somewhat slim, rugged case, I'd say this is a fairly decent option. Now the next case up is by Zugo, and it's currently $49.99 on Amazon. Now this is more of a pad folio style. It's sort of like a leather material, but it has a matte finish to it, unlike some of the cheaper ones that are really shiny. This one looks really nice in person. And it's got a nice little elastic sleeve here on the back to store your Apple Pencil. On the inside is almost like a velvet, really soft material, and the back part that it actually snaps into is not a hard plastic, but it's more of a hard TPU material. So it does have a little bit of flex to it, and it does have a pretty strong magnet. It's got a pretty strong magnet here to keep the front closed, and yes, it does have the auto wake, auto sleep feature. The power and volume buttons are that hard TPU material, which you do have to push just a little harder than the soft silicone, but it still actually works pretty good. And then you've got a little indent here on the side that makes it really easy to open and close. You've got cutouts for the rear-facing camera, microphones, and headphone jack, and then cutouts along the bottom for the speakers and charging port. And the cool thing about this one is it's got a magnetic stand on the back as well. That actually fit right into the grooves on the front cover, which gives you 8 different positions. So I've used a lot of these Padfolio cases, and this is probably one of the best quality cases that I've used. So now we've got a couple different keyboard cases to look at. And the first one is by Eames Case, and it's currently $36.99 on Amazon, and you get 7 different colors to choose from. So the shell on this one is made of a hard TPU material. You can see there's a little spot here on the side for the Apple Pencil. And they leave a little spot here on the back where you can just pop that out. It doesn't look like it's made for the Logitech pen. You can force it in there, but it's not really made for it, and it doesn't quite close all the way. Now, the keyboard itself is super lightweight. It really just kind of sticks to the inside of the front cover and really doesn't move at all. So you can use this case with or without the keyboard. I'm not sure if I'm really a fan of this glitter, sparkly stuff on the outside. And it's got a magnet that holds it together as it wraps around the back of the case. And then on the bottom, you've got cutouts for the speakers and charging port, cutout for the microphone on the back, also for the power button and the headphone jack. And again, it's got some extra holes here if you have the iPad Air 10.5 inch. And then it's also got a cutout for the volume buttons. And this one does have the auto wake or auto sleep feature as well. Now the keyboard itself feels super lightweight. You've got the power on and off and connect button up in the right hand corner and micro USB charging port on the side. So we should be able to connect through Bluetooth. Wow, that actually seemed really easy. All right, so let's go ahead and try some typing. Okay, so my first impressions of this keyboard case is, yeah, this is actually pretty good. This is actually a lot better than I was expecting for under 40 bucks. Now, one cool thing about having a keyboard on an iPad is you can access a lot of the controls right here on the keyboard, such as turning the volume up and down, screen brightness, switching between apps, and there's just a lot of other things you can do, which just seems faster with a keyboard. Now, the only thing I noticed on this keyboard is all the letters on the keys just sort of look like stickers, so I'm not really sure how long those are gonna last before they start wearing off. But for this price point, I can't really complain. So if you're looking for a cheap keyboard case that works, you'll definitely want to consider this Eames case, but you may want to try a different color. Now next up is a keyboard case from Infi, and this is currently $49.95 on Amazon, but there is currently an extra 5% off coupon. Now as far as I know, there is just a black version of this one. So this is very similar to the Eames case, just a little bit different material. And on this one, it's got a smaller magnetic flap that goes to the front of the case instead of to the back. Now this one has a hard plastic shell instead of a hard TPU. And one thing you'll notice about this one is the keyboard is actually built in. Now along the top, you've got cutouts for the headphone jack, microphone, and power button. Now the volume buttons on this one are a little bit harder to get to, but they do leave just enough room so you can still get to them. It's got one big opening along the bottom for the charging port and speakers. And then you've got a power and Bluetooth button for the keyboard, along with the micro USB charging port. On the back, you've got a cutout for the rear facing camera. And then as you can see, this one has a built-in kickstand, which is actually pretty rigid, almost like a friction hinge. Okay, so this keyboard connects a little different as well. Once you hold the power down for 3 seconds, then you've got to do function and C for connect. Then it'll pop up under Bluetooth devices. Okay, so I was just trying to type the exact same thing that I typed on the other keyboard case. I had a couple issues where the cursor would jump up a couple lines, but I'm almost thinking it's because I kept hitting page up. Which actually goes up a line. So part of it is probably just getting used to this keyboard. While I think this one is probably better quality than the Eames Case one, I felt like the Eames Case keyboard was a little more comfortable. And again, like the other one, you're going to be able to do a lot of the same stuff, such as switch between apps, turn screen brightness up, turn the volume up and down, and there's just a lot of other stuff to do, but this is just a quick overview. So that's just a quick look at the Infi keyboard case for the new. And so I don't know, what do you guys think? What do you think? There's a ton of options out there. If it was up to me, I'd probably choose the Eames Case over this one. And one accessory I think is almost mandatory if you're into gaming is an Xbox One controller, especially right now during holiday sales. So next up, we've got two different adapters. One is a Lightning to HDMI adapter, which actually works pretty good if you want to take whatever's on your iPad and connect it to a large TV or even a projector. All you do is plug this in to the iPad, then you have to plug in the Lightning cable that came with your iPad. Then it's just a matter of plugging in your HDMI cable. Now just keep in mind that this doesn't charge the iPad when you're using it. Then the other adapter is a Lightning to USB. Now this is made for a camera, but you can also plug in a lot of other USB devices. And you hook it up the same way. You just plug in your power into the adapter, and then the adapter into the iPad. And then you can plug in your USB device. Now this is just a SanDisk flash drive, but you can also use it for a mouse, keyboard, external hard drive, etc. So if you're looking for an Apple Pencil alternative, there is some cheaper ones like this Kimwood that's less than $40, but I just haven't had much luck with it. But with the Logitech Crayon digital pencil, I mean, this thing's really good and accurate. So if you're thinking of getting something like this cheaper Kimwood, personally I wouldn't. It's just a little too finicky and it seems like it only works half the time. I would just get the Logitech Crayon. So if you've made it this far into the video, you may want to say thanks by subscribing, and don't forget to give a thumbs up if this video was helpful. This is Brian from Fishbee Productions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.